Good morning. Today is Saturday, August 25th. The road's sort of bumpy, so I'm sorry for the shaking of the camera. But we are currently driving from my brother's house to my hometown, which is in northern Wisconsin, for my grandma's funeral. We stayed at my brother's last night. We got in really late, but we got a good night's rest thanks to my brother and his family. And now we're on the road. My mom's riding with them, but as you can see, the car's empty because we hadn't cleared it out at their house. But we got Maddie, we got our driver, and we've got me. So we're gonna head to Quick Trip on our way out of town just to get a couple drinks and some coffee, and then we're gonna make the trek. It's just a little over an hour or so to that, and go to her funeral. I probably am not gonna record really anything, just out of respect and such like that. I might record some of my hometown just for memory's sake for me. So this was the church that my grandma attended her whole life, that she lived here in my hometown, and this is where the funeral was. As I said previous, I didn't record just because, you know, it's a private thing. There was a tornado that went through the town and completely demolished this church, and they did rebuild it, and it's beautiful. So this is just a quick view of my hometown. Got Ryan driving as usual. Maddie's in the back. Mimi's with David and Melissa. So there's the church right there. We stopped at, yep, you guess it, Quick Trip. We're gonna stop here and get some drinks and something light to eat because we haven't ate really anything all day, and it's 2 o'clock. And then we're gonna head back. It's about an hour 15 minutes. We're gonna head back to my brother's house. So like I said previously, this town is known for trains. I grew up hearing the train sound, that it basically wasn't even a second thought when it would go off. The train tracks go right through town and divide it in half. This half is the fire and ambulance, so hopefully you don't need anything on the other half while they wait for the train. The trains are really long and they go really fast. So, but it's a childhood memory for me because I just absolutely love the sound of the trains. And I think it's just because I grew up listening to the trains tooting their horn and everything. This is our downtown. It's basically one street and everything is pretty much closed. They have a city hall, they have a bank, but they got grant money to make that look real nice there. But otherwise, Wells Fargo, it's just this one street. Although they do have a theater, a minor theater, and I have really good memories of going to the movies there growing up. We went to the movies there all the time, and so yeah, that was fun. Up there, that brown tannish building is the courthouse and jail. This is just more of the area of where we live. It's just a very rural area with lots of trees, and it's very beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, but sadly the town is slowly dying, losing the population. People aren't staying. Schools are losing kids and such. So it's really sad, but it also has lots of good memories for me. So it's nice to just sort of drive around and take a look around. So here's the high school. This is where I went to high school. I'm trying to think. When I went there was probably like 350 kids, and now they're probably like, what, a couple hundred maybe? That's how small people are wondering why I'm recording. It's because we are the home of the Lumberjacks. Oh, this is the Ladysmith Middle and High School. That's right. They just had to close the elementary school and move the elementary to the middle school and the middle school to the high school because of such low enrollment. They couldn't keep 3 buildings open. So, yeah, there's been a lot of small town politics about that. But this is the high school that I went to high school at. Those are some pretty flowers there. Oh, what's this stuff over here? Is that like middle school? Yeah. Probably for 5th graders, 6th graders. Yeah. It's a really tiny playground. But anyways, so the cafeteria was back in there. And then after I was done with like college and stuff, but Mom was still working, she would work in this classroom. So I would drive down here and drop her off and pick her up down here. This is like a really tiny playground, which is really weird. It must be for like 5th grade, 6th grade, but they sure don't have a lot of equipment. It's just a couple swings and lots of benches, and that's pretty much it. A pretty small area. They're still trying to get that all figured out because they're still trying to get stuff finished for the school year to start with the moving around to the buildings. But just some like softball fields and whatnot. This is the other side of the high school. The auditorium is where they have that really nice new Ladysmith High School sign. And down there is the band and choir rooms, and they're right over here. And that is basically where I spent the majority of my time in high school. I wonder what that shack used to not be there, so I'm not sure what that shack is for. But anyways, this is the other side of the high school. And again, just surrounded by beautiful trees and all of that. We're heading away from the school, and this is another road. Again, just look at the beautiful trees and everything. And then up here is the church that I grew up going to. So this is the church, First Church of Christ. It's a beautiful church. Probably in late middle school, high school, they built this additional building here because they needed more classroom space. But yeah, so this is the church that I grew up at, going to at. Again, just all the beautiful trees and everything. And then they needed more storage, so they built that storage shed. But so here's sort of the front of the church. I mean, there's the front of the church from the road, but then here's the front of the church with the nice stained glass window and the flowers. Sorry, you can really see my shadow in the mirror. So, yeah. This is the Flambeau River. It also divides the town. I remember when it flooded and this whole lower part was completely covered, like taller than the pavilions and everything. So there's the park back there that I used to swim at and play at. And then you come up here and there's the courthouse. So we went down and around and made a big loop. So, and then here's the other, well, here's the main drag of the town, but they don't really have much. They have gas stations and buildings that have run down. But there is my grandma's church right there where the funeral was. That's a bed and breakfast. That used to be a library. I remember going there. Fond memories of that. See, the places are all closed up. So, and then up here is more railroad stuff. So there's the railroad tracks. This is the railroad tracks where that previous train was, but it's just a road over. This used to be, see more trains there. This used to be a grocery store when I lived here, and then it changed into an Ace hardware store. And then just more gas stations. So it was a nice place to grow up, and I have a lot of really nice memories here. So it's sort of bittersweet because who knows, this might be the last time that I actually really am in my hometown, because my grandma was the last person who was living here. So real quickly though, there's another train. You can see more trains there. And then the visitor center is like a little train station they made up. But, so my grandma was like the last of our relatives living here. And so, I don't know, it's just bittersweet. It's sad because there's so many good memories here. But who knows if I'll ever be back or come back, because there's nobody here. There's nothing to come back to except for to just drive through the town. So, yeah, so it's sort of like saying goodbye to my hometown. There is a Walmart, but that's new as of like 15 years. Well, I guess it's not new, but when I was growing up, that was never there. So, anyways. And then if you come over here, you come over, it's the Flambeau, right?
Yep.
You come over the Flambeau River, it comes all the way over here too. And then you head out of town. So we're heading back to my brother's and leaving the beautiful green hometown behind.